people, how you doing? I hope you're having a damn good day. Welcome back to the channel, and in this video I will be replicating and recreating the YouTube All-Stars set of tactics and instructions, also known as Goldbridge Ball, in FIFA 23. So if you can, hit the like button down below, subscribe if you are new, please, that would be absolutely great. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, maybe more, who knows, but that is what that's the main target at the moment, 2K subscribers. So if you can, like I say, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get on into it. Starting up top, I've gone with the government names, by the way. But starting up top, we've got Nicholas Omilana, otherwise known as Nico Omilana. We've got Theo Baker, who got injured yesterday, which was quite sad, to be honest. We've got Kai Sinat. We've got Young Philly. I'm not going to try and pronounce this man's name. But anyway, we've got Young Philly in the midfield. We've got Chris Dixon, also known as Chris MD, in the midfield. And then we've got Speed on the wing. We've got Danny Aarons on the right back role. We've got Max Foch as a centre-back alongside Chunks, who was in the midfield slash as a centre-back at times, but mainly in the midfield. And then we've got Willany. So yeah, you know, and then of course in goal we've got XQC, who was not great whatsoever. I felt kind of bad for him because it was like the first time he was being a goalkeeper, and I know he was like a hockey goalkeeper, I think. But yeah, it wasn't great, you know, it just wasn't great. But anyways, it is what it is. We move on. We move, and I think this team, I think it played fairly well. I think, you know, Theo Baker on the field with Chris Dixon, I think they were doing very good. They were doing their bits, and I think, you know, maybe if you didn't get injured and you just stay on the field, I think, you never know, YouTube All-Stars with Goldbridge Ball, they could have pulled something out there. As for the instructions, we have got it set to a 4-2-3-1 wide. 1 goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs, 2 full-backs, 2 central midfielders, 2 wide midfielders, 1 cam, and then of course 1 striker. Now, with the set of tactics under Goldbridge Ball, I went with a balanced defensive style because I could not really tell what their whole game plan was on the defensive end of things. Like, they were very open at the back. They weren't looking to press. They weren't looking to put the opposition under pressure all the time. They weren't looking to drop back into their shape. I think also the tired legs got in the way. But I went with a balanced approach for the defensive style, so they would look to just, you know, try and maintain their shape as much as possible, as well as get men forward at times. As for the width, it was a slightly more narrow width to what the sidemen set of tactics were. So I've set it to 55. They were nice and compact at times, but they also were nicely wide and spread out. And in order to do that, I've gone with a nice 55 width rating there. As for the depth, they played an incredibly high line. Like, Goldbridge was like, we're attacking small. If they can score 1 or 2 or 3 goals, we're still going to attack. And a very high depth of 85 was heavily exposed against what the sidemen had to offer. I mean, Manny and Toby and whoever you wanted that was up front, they were literally just running riot at times. But they went with it. They stuck to their core values. They played an incredibly high line of 85, maybe even higher at times. But I went with a nice happy medium 85, you could say. As for the offensive build-up, I've gone with a balanced play because they would look to try and hit on the counter-attack. They would also look to try and be a bit more clinical with the ball. So they did have that slowed down approach and all that good stuff. But in terms of the chance creations, I've gone with the forward runs sets beyond. So again, looking to try and exploit that back line, get the ball up the wings, the likes of Speed, Kai Sinat, even Young Philly on the wing at times. They would look to try and exploit that right-hand side, especially. I mean, Speed is incredibly fast. He didn't know the offside rule for half the game, but it was fine. It was fine. He was doing his bits. I'm quite sad that he didn't score, to be fair. Like, I was just sitting here like, just score, and then of course he missed the penalty, and then of course Cal Freezy blocked his shot off the line. It was absolute scenes. As for the width though, I've set it to 60, so they weren't a very widespread team. They would look to attack down the flanks, but the rest of the team would be very central, very narrow, compact to each other, little 1-2 passes in and around the box, trying to pass and move. Chris Dixon was absolutely fantastic. He was the best player on the YouTube All-Stars, and he probably would rival Ethan Bazinga for the player of the match because, to be honest, he was the driving force in this team at times. But yes, as for the width, I'm getting slightly carried away. As for the width, it was set to 60. Players in the box, a slightly lesser amount compared to what the sidemen did, but this time it's set to 7, can't count. So yes, it's set to 7. Your front line, all in the box. Your number 10 just on the outside of the box, looking to make runs late on into the box or collect the ball, rotate it back out to your fullbacks or your wingers, waiting for them to cross the ball back into that attacking area. As for corners and free kicks, as per always, it is set to 4. So we'll start off with the goalkeeper for the instructions. I have set XQC to be cautious when it comes to crosses. Now, he had a few howlers, he had a few terrible moments. He kicked the ball into his own player, and the ball went in the back of the net. It was not his day. But you know what? In terms of what he was doing and stuff, you can't fault him. It was his first time playing between the sticks. And to be honest, I would have expected him to come out a bit more. I mean, when you are playing a high line, you do need a goalkeeper to be ready to run off of his line at times. He did not do that, which is why we've gone with the balanced approach for saving outside of the box. And then, again, cautious for crosses. He was terrible with collecting the ball at times. I think he caught the ball like twice, which is not great. Not great at all. And then we've got the 2 centre-back roles. We've got Max Foch, who did score an absolute banger. He is set to step up while defending, so be a bit more aggressive. Be, more engaging with the opponent at times. And then we've got Chunks, who's set to join the attack and step up. Like I say, Chunks at times, when Philly drifted out wide to that left mid position, Chunks would drift into the midfield a bit more, which is why I've gone with this set of instructions for him. And like I say, Goldbridge, he was more intent on attacking than anything else, so he wasn't worried if Chunks was out of position, not playing as a proper out-and-out centre-back at times. He was quite happy for him just to be high up the field, trying to create for the attackers going forward. And then we've got Willen E. He's set to join the attack and invert, as well as stick to position. And then we've got Danny Aarons, who is set to join the attack and overlap. He was making runs sometimes on the outside of speed, who sometimes just would not find him. But he did make some good tackles here and there on the opposition, high up the field as well. And he did whip in a few crosses. They were all terrible, but nonetheless, he was quite solid, you could say. And then we've got Chris MD. He is set to have a balanced attack, get into the box for the crosses. Aggressive interceptions are set to be on, free roam, and then cover the wing. So he would sometimes drop very deep, collect the ball, and then charge up the field with it. He very much had the Noah Beck role that Goldbridge gave to him last year, and Chris Dixon, aka Chris MD, he did a very, very good job with just being able to control and run the midfield. He was the heartbeat of that team at times going forward. And then we've got his counterpart in the midfield, Young Philly. He is here to have a balanced attack, get into the box for the crosses. Normal interceptions will be on, free roam as well. So he was also expected to do a similar role. I think Chris MD just took over at the end. But Young Philly, he was also a very good supporting cast member for this midfield trio. And then speaking of the midfield trio, slightly higher up, we've got Theo Baker. He was set to drop deep, so come back on defense, link up play with the likes of Chris MD and Young Philly. Stay on the edge of the box as well, have a free roam role, and then normal interceptions. So it did suck that he did, get injured, but he was able to drop nice and deep at times, spray those passes left and right. When Theo Baker was on the field, there were a lot of passes going left and not just right. I think once he went off, the play somewhat shifted to get the ball to speed and get into the box. And it's not the worst idea, but at times the sidemen just knew, give Speed the ball, okay, cool, we're going to go and double team Speed. And of course, it wasn't the best. And then we've got Kai Sennett on the left-hand side. He's here to come back on defense, stay wide, getting behind, using his speed and pace. I mean, he did score a goal. It was offside though, but like 30 meters. But anyways, and of course, get into the box for those crosses. He is 5 foot like something, so he's not the tallest player in the world, but nonetheless, I think he did fairly well in the limited time that he did get. I saw the clip, and he was like, I'm ass. Oh, it was the funny. They are so hilarious. It's unbelievable. It makes sense why these guys are like the top echelon of streamers and YouTubers in the world, because they're genuinely like the funniest people in the world. But why am I telling you this? You already know. And then we've got Speed. He is said to have a basic defensive support, so he would look to sometimes come back, but Goldbridge wanted him to be high and wide at times, which is why I've set him to stay wide and get him behind, using his speed to exploit the opposition's backline. Obviously the sidemen, whether it was the likes of Calix or whoever it was on the right-hand side for them, or the left-hand side, sorry. Josh as well. I mean, Josh Circa, he was heavily exploited in certain moments against the pace of Speed. And then, of course, get into the box for the crosses, being that attacking threat. I really do wish he had scored, though. Like, only thing that was missing from that game was a Speed goal. Oh, that would have literally topped it off. And then I would have been incredibly happy. The dopamine levels would have been incredibly high. And then, finally, we got the man that did score. Speed did get an assist, by the way. Mika Armalana. He is said to have a balanced width, so he would look to sometimes drift left and right, but mainly stay central. He is a very tall, strong, physical man, which is why we've also gone with him to be the target man. It's exactly what Goldbridge wanted for him to, you know, ball to chest it down, play it off to Theo Baker or Young Philly or Chris Dixon or whoever, and then get into the box for those crosses. And he was very, very good at doing so, taking up those attacking positions in certain moments, making those runs, fighting off the defenders at times as well. Normal exceptions are said to be on, so like I said, there was no real press or units press involved in this set of tactics for Goldbridge ball, and then stay forward. So he would look to try and be that out there ball at times, linking up with speed more times than not. So yes, my best approach at trying to replicate and implement Goldbridge ball in FIFA 23. If you have enjoyed this video, like I said, please hit the like button. It would mean the absolute most to me. Subscribe if you are new, that would be fantastic as well. But most importantly, my dudes, I hope you have a damn great day. I'm out.